Welcome back to News Diary. Now I want us to go to Spice FM. Today they were talking to James Ayugi. He's the founder of eCitizen and CEO of Webmasters Kenya Limited. The conversation was on, is the eCitizen platform safe? Let's listen in.
The CEO of Webmasters Kenya, founder of eCitizen. And James, are you still behind the eCitizen row? Are you running it?
Our company is behind the fixing of the bugs, but it's run by the government.
It's now run by the government.
That's correct.
But what you do is you offer technical support.
In technical world, when you're using a Microsoft Word, you've been licensed to use it.
Yes.
But the proprietor or the developer will keep on improving it. So behind the scenes, the core platform, we are the ones improving it, not just for Kenya, for several other jurisdictions. And when there are issues, there are channels in which we communicate with the government in resolving them.
So the platform is owned by the government?
Yes, the platform called eCitizen is 100% owned by the government.
The software that you developed is owned by the government?
The software that we developed is licensed to the government.
Okay.
So you own it?
We own our intellectual property.
Okay.
But the government has its license to scale and improve its version of the system.
Is
So
it
you
in
give them the right
perpetuity?
to use it?
The right to customize the version of the software to their liking and to the local laws.
Okay.
And for that, we cannot be able to move the Kenyan version to any other market.
Can you rescind it at any point? The license?
The Kenyan license is owned license by the government.
Oh, it's an owned license.
Yes, it's
not
an
leased.
owned license.
Okay.
So in the future, other people can still be able to improve on it. But it is compiled at this particular time, and they are the ones who are running it.
When you developed it, were you paid?
We were paid for the initial pilot, and this was $76K US dollars. At that time, it was like 7.6 million for the initial 10 services.
And then?
But you realize our intention at that time was to prove concept. So we didn't know that 10 services is such a small number when it came to even just NTSA. So in the initial terms of reference, it was just 3 services from NTSA. The moment you get in, you realize one service called driver's license has more than 15 other add-ons that all work together. So we now started just incorporating this additional just to prove the concept.
For more money?
So the pilot was partially funded, because I could say most of it we funded it ourselves.
Okay.
Yes.
Since then, how do you get paid?
Currently, we have a contract with the government, and the government pays us as per the contract agreement.
From the initial moment when we started interacting with the eCitizen
Yes.
for NTSA services, to date, whenever you transact on eCitizen, there's something called was it facilitation? What's the word?
Convenience fee.
The convenience fee.
Yes.
That has never gone below 50 bob.
Until recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much is it now?
From 5 shillings.
Okay.
So it is now
much lower.
No, not much lower. It has a tariff.
It's pegged to the service.
Yes, yes. So if you're paying a service, let's say less than 150, you pay like 5 shillings.
Okay.
Yes.
Who does this money go to?
So that money goes to the National Treasury.
And then?
And then the National Treasury disburses it to the ICT Authority.
Why?
The ICT Authority is the technical arm of the government responsible for all the digitization efforts. So they have contract with other providers. And this is one of the options to fund the digitization effort over and above other donors who come in to assist.
Was this part of your proposal to the government, or was it part of the terms of reference and requirements by government?
This was part of the now recommendation after the pilot.
That's what you recommended to them.
Because during the pilot, there were costs of running the ecosystem, supporting it, improving it. And at that time, even the convenience fee was not even enough to sustain a robust ecosystem. You realize in Kenya, just a single system like, example, NHIF, guys will pay 4 billion in the past for those kind of systems. But we were not even charging close to anything like that. So a sustainable model during our proof of concept was there are costs associated with SMSs. You can't decide that you're going to give 30,000 SMSs per month because tomorrow you may have a surge and people need to verify. So these are recurrent costs. Hosting, you may need to scale it when there's a surge. So when the government now regularized the pilot, they adopted the pilot, they developed policies and terms in which, for us, we are not part of the convenience fee. The government collects it. The government develop policies around the convenience fee, and they are the ones who disperse it as they wish. We are not part and parcel of that. For us, we only a service provider who offer our services as per our terms and condition with the government.
Now that you've been in this business for a while, would you say it's possible to anticipate a surge?
At this particular time, we've tested the platform across all different scenarios. eCitizen currently has the most number of users than any other system. And of course also recurrent.
Both in public and private.
That's correct. And also recurrent users. The government has heavily invested in the infrastructure. By infrastructure, I mean hosting ecosystem, just to make sure that there is high availability. So at this particular time, I can confirm that unless there is an incident like what happened, which was denial of service attack, which again we managed to resolve.
Can you talk a little bit more about it? I mean, remember, even as we speak, now let me speak for myself, not these two individuals you see me here with. Anything that has to do with ICT is not like a foreign country. It's an intergalactic journey. Something very strange and something that has to be explained to me slowly for me to understand. Okay, now let's go back to this mentioned supposed attack. What would bring about a situation like that?
First, of course, political. Second, interest. So you may have interest from other companies who want to make you look bad, and they'll sponsor these kind of things. But for the specific one, it was really identified, the sponsors were identified, and it was well funded. So this is actually the future of war. Cyber attacks is the actual real attacks that will happen in the future. So what happened is these guys paid guys from Indonesia and other countries who could be able to, there are guys on hire just to do this kind of artificial attacks. So they'll hire servers and send unlimited traffic to a site. So it's like when you receive your phone, you can only receive one call at a time.
Yeah.
Because that pipe is only designed for that. When someone else calls you, to tell them be busy until it's open again. When you have a call center, they have probably 100 concurrent users.
Yeah.
So it will take you to the next one until that part is full. Now, when it comes to systems online, it's equally the same. You have a server and you've maxed it to the number of Kenyans. So let's say, example, you have 50 million Kenyans. So that's the traffic that you, at the worst case, you believe all Kenyans are coming in at the same time, it will be able to handle that. You never anticipated that all 50 million Kenyans will come in at the same time.
The same second.
It is highly unlikely.
Yeah.
That
It's improbable.
Yes, that all of us will go in at the same time. So these guys were pushing more than 80 million requests per second. So when legitimate traffic will try to access the system, it's just hanging. So it will be like user busy. So that's pretty much what happened. During that time, this is someone who's just jamming your platform. They don't have access to anything.
Okay.
They don't have access to data. They're just
They're
jamming
not
it.
in the system.
They are not in the system.
They're just knocking at the door.
They're just
All 80 million of them at the same time.
they're just creating a stampede so that no one gets in. So that's pretty much what happened. And the security agencies, being a government infrastructure, the security agencies, both at Interior, Communication Authority, ICT Authority, were all in the loop of what's happening. And of course, additional security firewalls was added just to make sure that this kind of traffic is identified on time and then it's blocked before it gets into the system. So there is additional security that was added to the e-citizen after that incident, and now the system is even more safer than before.
James, for purposes of clarity here,
Yes.
essentially what we are saying is that the services being offered, that what e-citizen does is that it holds them all. You can transact, put in your applications, you can get this done, then you get feedback. So that's the chain. You put it in, something comes out, you're told it's ready, you either go pick it up or it comes to you virtually. So e-citizen is holding that. E-citizen is not making the decisions as per to tell you this thing now is ready. Yes? Then you're not the authorization channel. You are the operationalization channel, essentially, right? So if I put in a passport application, for example, it is not e-citizen that says it will be ready on the 24th of June, but we are holding your application, or is it? Just for purposes of clarity, because we are about to blast you for the reasons why 1,000+ passports that were applied for last year, we have no word. So that's why I want to clarify, is it you or not?
So e-citizen is a marketing name. It's a gateway to government services. On e-citizen, there are shared services. One, the single sign-on, and second, payment. Now, there are several departments of government offering their own services,
Right.
and they're connected to e-citizen via API. So once you log into e-citizen and you go to company's registry,
Yes.
you are submitting this application to the business registration services.
Right.
Their
Directly.
officers are the ones who own and manage the data. Their officers are the ones who make the approvals, and their officers are the ones who support in the event you have issues related to that application.
But they are on this platform.
So,
Yeah, okay.
so it is a distributed system.
Okay.
E-citizen does not sit in one server. It sits in hundreds of different servers in the different government departments. But the only shared service is the single sign-on. When you can't log in, that's a shared service. When you can't make a payment, that's a shared service. And that is now managed by the National Treasury.
Okay.
Now, immigration
Yes.
are responsible for their service delivery.
Okay.
In the event you make an application and there are delays, in most cases, it is associated with the printing either printing machine or the card.
Yes.
But the system is always available.
Okay.
Because most customers say, I submitted application, I paid for it,
Yeah.
but
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting for the service.
So when we say e-citizen is useless because I've not gotten my passport, that is not true.
That is not correct.
Okay, that is not correct.
Yes.
All right. So the system, which I think is easiest to use at this point, it works. The system works, and we've been able to, again, bring in thousands of operations onto the system. And if we want to be honest, I think it is phenomenal that can be done, whereby so many operations then are available on one system. I think Kenya is one of the few African countries right now that's able to do this. When we do see, and I think also for purposes of clarity, that when we do see a delay, because we have hundreds of servers, and I'm just going to repeat what you said for purposes of understanding, that when we do have hundreds of servers perched on this system. Everybody is responsible for what it is that you're seeking for at that point. So a delay is not the system delay, right? Now, when it comes to payments, whereby we are paying this money and we're sitting in hospital, now because everything's coming here. It's not still e-citizen when we're in hospital and we've made a payment and we're sitting in the thing. Waiting. And I cannot go see the doctor because they've not sent back the confirmation of payment. Who's that?
That is now a citizen.
Okay, what's wrong?
Now, what we've learned over the years, there's something called sensitization. Sometimes you're dealing with people who don't understand anything technology. And some people don't even know how to use... Yes, some people don't even know how to use a phone. So, so we've had instances where someone has keyed in a wrong account number or a wrong reference number.
Okay.
You understand? eCitizen does real-time reconciliation. Now, for the first time in the history of this country, the National Treasury has visibility of all incoming revenue in real time. Now, for that to happen, each and every transaction needs to be accounted for and mapped to the responsible organization. So when a customer comes in and they miss a digit or the wrong account number, that money is received but is not allocated. Now you go through a process, either for it to be reversed back so that you make payment, or for it to be assigned to the correct account. Now, at the hospital, we've been there, and I can confirm that the service is working efficiently. There are isolated cases, less than 0.1% of these instances where someone has made an error. But the payment service, not just at the hospital, but also in other services like ferry. In the ferry, you're just paying to a till number. And these are thousands of people paying every single time. Now they are going in and the government is able to see and confirm all these payments. It is working perfectly. So there might be few individuals who went through the unhappy route where they missed a digit and now they have to go through the frustrations of now having their records mapped. And this is equally similar to even when you're sending money via M-Pesa, they tell you to confirm, but still we end up sending money to the wrong people.
Right.
It has happened to me. I don't know what goes to my mind during that time, but I realize I've already sent. So now Safaricom will frustrate me. They'll tell you have to wait for us to go through a process.
To call that person, tell them that you want to reverse.
Yes. So there is a committee that is in charge of looking at these frustrations and developing policies that will be very clear to help you, to communicate to you in the event you've made that kind of mistake. So they'll say, okay, when you call, it will take you 12 hours or 10 hours or 3 hours for it to be resolved.
So when there is that hiccup, so there's two things that could have happened. The system had a fault or somebody made a mistake.
That's correct.
What's in the majority?
Mistakes.
Okay.
Mistakes.
All right.
But also there's something to note. eCitizen is not a payment channel. The normal payment channels still exist. So you can pay via card, Visa, MasterCard, you can pay via M-Pesa, you can pay via Airtel Money, and other channels. When there are issues getting confirmation from these channels, your application will also not go through. So sometimes, let's say you've paid via M-Pesa, and Safaricom have not sent notification to eCitizen that we've received this payment. And this might be due to even delays in their own system.
Right.
That will also affect the customer. And these are some of the issues when the third-party systems are down. Customers also get frustrated being able to access services. So that one has also access.
Even if we don't impute nefarious intent, is it possible for a system to simply break down? Bicycles break down, cars break down.
Humans break down.
Human beings break down. That's why they're taken to the garage, referred to as a hospital all the time. How does one foresee, plan, forestall, and then sort out such issues when they do come up?
This is now risk management. when you talk about risk management, you're looking at all the different scenarios, worst case scenarios, and plan for those eventualities. And within the e-citizen ecosystem, there is all these scenarios, and there are backups. So we foresee, of course, there'll be change of technology. Of course, there'll be different use cases. And we're also riding on other applications. Example, you're accessing the system via a browser that keeps on updating. Some of these browser updates have effect on the system. So we have a team dedicated just to look at high availability, just to make sure that the system works and the citizen is able to get services. By the citizen, I mean myself and you.
Are there times when, for instance, you have what you call routine maintenance, and are people informed adequately that
It will be down between the hours of 3 a.m. and 5 a.m.
Yes, there are those kind of notifications, and these are usually communicated by the different organizations. Example, when you go to register a company now, they'll tell you we are migrating to a new system, and this is the roadmap. So you can access both systems at the same time, but at a certain point, they will close the old system, and then there'll be migration to the new system.
James, as you understand, as you're moving into this new thing, very many questions will emerge. People are saying, all right, I'm trying to access the service. The police clearance process is too slow. E-citizen itself is too slow. There are very many concerns, and you're addressing them and saying the system is robust. There could be hitches here and there, which you need to raise. We'll invite you again so that you come now and it'll be question time.
Okay.
Let people raise their questions and concerns and, express their fears so that you can tell them, okay, yeah, we are Kenyan engineers and we have solved this thing, or not.
and we live here?
Yeah. Asante sana, James Ayugi, for joining us.
Thank you.